with Jay and Jolie-Rose, and we got a hot topic tonight. Uh, some of us has been through these experiences, and I wanted to have a chance to see what kind of feedback we can get, like what people have to say about this. The question tonight is, um, wait a minute, hold on, let me make sure I get the stuff right. I got to be able to see y'all's comments. Oh, wait a minute. All right. Yeah, so the topic tonight is talking. We're gonna be talking about how or how whether it's. Or I put it this way: how hard is it to recover from losing a loved one, or how hard is it to recover from heartbreak? How a heartbreak? And I'm asking this question because I really want to know whether it's uh it's something that I know it's a healing process, but I want to know whether uh, being involved in a heartbreak, whether or not it's going to, whether or not it causes you to take that over into uh, next relationships, or like has it been a issue with your new relationship because you've been locked in, worried about, well, not worried, but just you haven't quite recovered from the loss in a past relationship. So I wanted to kind of get some feedback about that. um, I'm gonna say, me personally, um, I have been through heartbreak several times, and my first heartbreak that I experienced, I was young. I was just I was really green behind my ears. Like I was just coming out of being a virgin, and it was that type of love. I, that coming from being a virgin type of love is, I think, is different. I found that it's different than you know other things, because a lot of times, you know uh maybe like the relationship gets built off of like sexual chemistry, stuff like that, versus just a whole full solid relationship. So what happened with me, I got my heart broken, and I was upset about it. I cried, and the thing is, I went to my mom. Well, I didn't go to my mom. I said I ain't gonna tell her nothing, because here's the thing: my mom was warning me. She was warning me about things, and I was like, nah, nah, nah. So when the thing blew up and it happened, I remember, and what make it so bad, it was on Valentine's Day. I remember coming home on the bus, and I was seeing, looking at couples together, where they had their balloons and their teddy bears and stuff like that. And I was in there just trying to hold the tears back in. I was trying so hard not to cry. And I was playing it off real good, but you know, I did end up crying, but I played it off real good when nobody wasn't able to see me. So I made it back home, and I'm saying the whole time, I ain't gonna tell my mother, I ain't gonna tell her, cause I know she gonna say something, like she gonna I felt like she wasn't going to be encouraged, and I felt like she was going to say, "I told you so." I really felt like she was going to say that. Well, I got home. I'm already upset about the situation and what happened. But as soon as I walk in the door, my mother said, "Them dishes in there waiting for you." Now, I'm sitting there, and she had my little cousin over there, which was who was at the age of being able to wash dishes. So I'm like, then I go in there, they got the whole kitchen piled down with dishes, no water. Like they cook in pots and don't put no water in the pots. Like it just, I was just pissed. I started slamming stuff around, and back then my mother, she wasn't real into church, into, well, she was in, well, not really into religion as much. So she was like, "What the hell wrong with you?" And I was like, "Nothing." I was sitting in there. I'm crying. I'm crying from the heartbreak, and I'm crying because I gotta wash all them daggone dishes. And then eventually, she saw something, and she said, "What's wrong? Something happened with that girl, did it?" And I just bust out crying. I was like, "Yeah," and thinking she gonna grab me and hug me, say it's gonna be all right. Please. My mother said, "I told you. Didn't I tell you? You don't never listen. I told you. I told you." I was like, "Oh Lord," and that just made it so much worse. Like I was like, "Dang, why did I even tell her? Why did I even say anything?" So anyway, so from at that point, uh, after that relationship, uh, I wasn't really um, hurt to the point where I said that I wasn't gonna love anymore or nothing like that. Really, I just went on and just started you know dating a little bit, hooking up with girls and stuff like that. I really, I at that point I really wasn't looking for no relationship like that. But once I started branching out a little bit, like I guess it just numbed the pain or dulled the pain, and for I knew it, hey, I was good, I was strong, you know, and then eventually I well, well, eventually, no, I didn't. Matter of fact, I never got into another relationship. I just had, females that I would kick it with. But then I came across this older female that was, she was like 30. And I was like, I was just about to turn 21 or 18. No, 21. I was just about to turn 21, but I met her when I was 20. And we was talking a little bit, stuff like that. And then it got to the point where I started going over to her house and we started kicking it real good. And but here's the thing. Now, she told me from the start that she had a man, said her man was incarcerated, and we can kick it like on a down low, but when he come home, it's got to be over. uh if he called, I got to be quiet, stuff like that. And I was like, okay. I was just excited for the fact that, hey, this is the first time I got an older woman. Like, shoot, I was feeling myself a little bit. And but as time went along, them feelings was starting to kick in for me. The feelings was starting to kick in until it all blew up. It blew up because she had a daughter about 5, 6 years old, and she went to go run to the store, and she had me to watch her daughter. But she told both of us, if that phone ring, don't answer the phone. So I already knew, you know what I mean? Hey, I got you. So uh so the phone rang, I was in the room. What I was probably playing a game or something or watching something on TV. And next thing I know, I hear the little girl, hello. I was like, what the? I ran in there. I think she's supposed to be in there playing with her toys or something. She done went and answered the phone. Next thing I know, I run in there and she looked at me. I was like, you wasn't supposed to answer the phone. I just whispered. And that's when the guy asked, where your mom? And she was like, she went to the store and he was like, she left you there in there by yourself? Said, no, I'm in here with Mr. J. He's like, Mr. J, who was that? By that time, the daughter, I mean the mother, she come in the door. And she was like, girl, what you doing on that phone? All I know, her and the dude, they went talking. She went outside. She was talking with him for a while. Then she came in, told me that we couldn't kick it no more. It had to be over. Cause her man don't like, her, having no male company and this and that and the other. And I was like, okay, but on the top surface, I was playing it cool, hey, it is what it is. You told me what the deal is. Like I'm good. We good. But deep down inside, I was like, I felt a little something. And as I was leaving and I was, walking away, I started, feeling like, dang, I started feeling a little bit hurt. I was like, dang, man, you done got yourself drawn in with this woman. I was like, look, look, get yourself together. You going look. So I did. I got myself together, and I went back to how I was before. Like, I mean, I was looking for a relationship, but you know, I was really just testing the water out there a little bit or whatever. And I wasn't with a whole lot of random females. It's just a couple of them that I would deal with, and ironically, one of them wound up being my ex, my first ex, and I would go back and kick it with her from time to time, and uh, you know, so from that point, I came across this one female. She was nice, but the only problem is, she had 3 kids, and along with that, she had her tubes tied. And it's like at that point, I didn't have no kids, so you know, I told her from the beginning, like, we can kick it, but I can't see myself having, like a long term relationship with you because, eventually I'm gonna want to have kids of my own, and like you're not able to do that. I don't want to be, out running in behind your back and doing stuff like that. So, um, in that situation, it was similar to how mine was with the older woman. She was like, okay, she was fine with it. So we would just get together and kick it from time to time. And then I met somebody. I met somebody that I felt was special. So at that point, I decided that I was going to throw away my little black book. Like, all the ones that I was reaching out to or whatever like that, getting together with, I decided to do away with all of that. I felt like I found the one. So I called her up. And when I called her and I told her the deal, she cried. Oh my goodness, she cried so bad. I was like, oh my God, like, dang, I felt so bad. But I was like, but I told you, like, you know, we couldn't have nothing like that. And she was like, but I love you and this and that and the other. And I was like, man, I ain't gonna lie. That's the worst. That's the worst I ever felt about something like about doing something like that. And this is one of the reasons why I advise people to, when you talking about when you having like intercourse with people, feelings are developing. If it's not with you, it could be from them, and you decide one day, okay, you just want to stop that and you ready to move on with somebody else. Like that's somebody's heart gonna be on the line. Like you can't just do that and just think that everything is gonna be okay. Eventually, somebody is gonna be affected by it. So when she cried and stuff the way she did, man, I felt like a heel. And but eventually, you know, that was it, and I moved on with that relationship, and uh, in that relationship, it ended up being, I ended up having two daughters, and it wound up ending not so good, but you know, I always be grateful for my babies. Always be grateful for my babies in a situation. Um, it was I had the experience. I had the chance to experience being a parent for the first time. I can't. I remember when my daughter came. I remember being just so, I don't know. I don't know why I was surprised. Like I just couldn't believe that I was a dad. Like, and it's just like my protective skills came in, and it's like I just wanted to keep her safe. And then it was I know I'm getting off topic, but it was a time when she first started out, she was having problems with milk because she's lactose intolerant. So she went through several different kinds of milks because the milks was making her like throw up like violently, and that was so scary. That was so scary to see her like that. Like, oh my god, like. But when they finally found a good milk for her, she was able to do her milk and was good, and that was a relief. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, like, you know, uh, that was a bad breakup. Now, that's going to lead me to my point. When you going into another relationship, does the effects from your past relationship do that interfere with your next relationship? Like, do that kind of put you on pause or put you on alert for going into the next relationship, or do um, some people have these feelings that stay with them, and when they go into the new relationship, they just automatically like think that that person is going to be the same way. It's like some people may develop a lack of trust issues. You know, I wanted to talk about this topic because you know it's very important to. Um, I think it's very important to heal before you go jumping into another relationship. I think it's important to heal. I think it's important to uh, search yourself, see what it is that you could have done better in your past or your previous relationship. And when you come into the new relationship, you you'll be able to do things maybe less hurtful. You know, me personally, my issue was priorities. Priorities. I worked, but I spent a lot of time playing basketball, stuff like that. And the thing is, it's a balance. When you have a family, it's a balance. And my balance was completely off. It was work, basketball, and just a little percentage was my family. And that's not the way that it should have went. But it was a lesson for me to learn in that. I had to turn away from that, and you know, after that relationship, I couldn't sit and point all the fingers at her and what happened. I had to do some soul searching myself and try to see what I need to do to make things better moving forward. Because if I hadn't, I would have came into the next relationship with some of them same old bad habits, and it would have destroyed the next relationship. Sometimes your bad habits, uh, well, not sometimes, those bad habits will follow you unless you deal with them and move forward with knowing and feeling in your mind, hey, I'm going to do better. A lot of times, people move on and they blaming the other person, even if that other person was at fault in situations. But you got to evaluate yourself, and when you move to the next one, you need to know what you ain't gonna take that you might have taken in that past relationship, and then you got to realize also what could I have done different to maybe help the relationship a little bit better. Maybe you were the type of person that like to argue all the time or something like that. That's something that you need to work on and moving forward to your next relationship, because you don't want uh, to run somebody away that could be the perfect person for you. But those old habits can cause you to miss out on a good thing. So I just really wanted to come together and touch base about this. Um, I was hoping to have uh, some feedback today. I appreciate everybody coming in and being a part of our journey here. I know we haven't done a lot over here, but I feel like we're going to be, you know, dedicating a little bit more into it. Me personally, I've been over on TikTok. Well, not. Well, I'm trying to get based over on TikTok also, and trying to learn things over there. It's a lot more difficult over there for me, especially because I'm, visually impaired, and trying to keep up with the different things, the features, and everything that come with it. So I've been on the process of trying to get a grip of that, trying to learn things. Um, but we've been holding it down here. I try to keep something positive going over here. I try to, while we try to keep things that will kind of uplift couples, kind of give us couples something to think about, something to work with, something to help us to be stronger, because we believe in strong relationships. We believe in loyalty and trust and all of the good things that come with a good positive relationship. So if there's anything that we can do to help somebody else to get to the point where they need to be, that's why we're here. That's why we're here. And I just want y'all to know that, the line of communication is always open. And, if you have any questions about anything, or, you need some advice. Now, we're not no doctors. We're not no therapists or nothing like that. But we have had experiences in our life uh, with each other and in other relationships. So, it's nothing like having advice from somebody that's bias that's not going to take one side over the other. So, we're available, for anybody that, wants somebody to talk to, or, and not saying you got to take and go by everything we say or take our advice, but just if you just need somebody to talk to, we here and we always available. So just shoot us a message and we'll make sure that we get back with you. But that's all I got for now, and I just wanted to kind of touch on that. I wanted to get some input. Maybe if you watch this video, you can comment on it, and we can have a little conversation. I like to get some dialogue and get people to talk about their experiences and stuff like that. Because listen, what we've been through, believe it or not, it really can help somebody out. Your experiences, whether it was up or down, can really be something good for somebody else. Especially these young people just starting out. And not even just these young people. Like it's people that's in their 40s and 50s starting over in new relationships. So it's always something that we can learn. It's always something that we can improve, especially about ourselves. So, but that's all I got for now, y'all. As I always say, um, love, peace, and blessings to all of y'all. This is Manifested Love with Jen Jolie-Rose, and we'll catch you on the next one. Jolie wasn't feeling good today. Hopefully, we can get her to come out and join the party on another one. But until then, I'll catch y'all later. Y'all be good. Take care. I gotta contact them about this. I don't know why my live is not turning off.